What's because you? Another Monday Night Raw review for the night of July 27th. I saw that. Anyway, July 27th, 2015. Raw opens up, and I'm about to sneeze. Raw opens up with Triple H. Oh, that was one of those sneezes I had to hold in. Triple H, Steph, and Seth Rollins making announcements for the matches. The big thing they would not shut up about was like, this is a night of first. The first time ever, Big Show versus Dean. And for the first time ever, we had, Paige versus Sasha Banks on Raw, and Becky Lynch and Charlotte versus Nikki Bella and Alicia Fox. And Michael Cole wouldn't shut up about it on Mike. He's like, this is a night of first. Like, freaking Adrian Neville had a match against Fandango. He's like, this is the first time these two have ever met. I was like, shut up, Michael Cole. I hate you. Shut up. Anyway, the Authority is out, and they make a quote-unquote monumental announcement that SummerSlam is going to be 4 hours. I'm going to tell you right here, right now, without a shadow of a doubt, without any qualms about it, that is a terrible idea, because Raw cannot entertain me on a week-to-week basis at what they give you is 3-hour mark, but it's really like only 2 hours if you take out commercials and filler segments that aren't just segments that suck, but segments that actually just like whatever, backstage interviews and commentary table and flashbacks to stuff. It's like 2 hours. So the old 2-hour Raw only had to entertain you for like an hour, and then the rest was like filler stuff. Now it has to entertain you for 2 hours, and it can't do that. So I don't expect them to entertain me for twice as long. In fact, I expect them to bore me twice as fast. Especially at the end of this night, what I saw with my own eyes. But anyway, they announced for the 4-hour SummerSlam, which is a terrible idea, and it's gonna suck. I don't care what anyone has to say about it, because I know that it's going to suck, because they can, they say they want it to be like Mania, and this is the third biggest pay-per-view they have, basically. It's SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, Mania, from 3 to 1 in that order. It's number 3 is SummerSlam, number 2 Royal Rumble, number 1, and that varies from year to year. Sometimes SummerSlam is bigger, but the Rumble match itself really draws in a lot of love, because it's a pay-per-view that's existed for so long. And then of course Mania. So that's your top 3 pay-per-views, but 4 hours. Mania is completely different. It's a different atmosphere. The crowd's different. Speaking of crowd, Tulsa, Oklahoma still sucks. It's still the worst crowd I've ever seen. If you remember any of my reviews from last year, and I said Tulsa, Oklahoma sucks, I remain that Tulsa, Oklahoma still sucks. It is one of the worst crowds ever. It is a crowd, as far as I'm concerned, from everything I know about the places I've worked and the degree I have, that is a crowd that whenever they step into that arena, I don't know the name of the arena, whenever those people step into that arena for a Monday Night Raw event, whether it be live or house show, become autistic children, because they don't know what to cheer for. They'll believe anything you tell them, and they have just no understanding of basic human function at all. And I've worked with autistic children, and I have autistic children in my family, and that is exactly how they act. You tell them something, and they just flat out believe it. All these people in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in that arena would just die hard loving Cena. And you know what? The school I worked at for special needs kids, those kids loved John Cena. So from everything I know, only people that love John Cena with a passion, that don't see him doing anything wrong and just cheer him and then don't acknowledge anyone else, are kids with special needs. Mentally disabled kids. And sometimes mentally disabled adult, because the school I worked at, they went up to age 21. So, and they had an adult program, which a lot of those kids left to go on to do. So, don't try to convince me that those little kids in there, or those under 30-something-year-olds, ain't special needs people, because you know what? As far as I'm concerned, they are. Tulsa, Oklahoma sucks. But after we get the announcement that that SummerSlam is going to be 4 hours, and that we got a bunch of matches on the card that no one cares about, the Authority is interrupted by Cena, who wants a WWE title match. I hate John Cena, and I'll explain why later. But they say no, basically, and that instead they're going to give Seth a U.S. title match. Which, hindsight's 2020. If I knew that they were going to do what they did in that main event, I I don't know what I do. I do it like Stewie, where I'd watch like Stewie Griffin from Family Guy when he sees Will Ferrell not being funny in Bewitched, and he buys like a plane ticket completely silent and a ladder and goes to Will Ferrell's house and punches him in the face. I would do that to Vincent Kennedy McMahon. I would go to his house, dead silent, not saying a single word during the plane trip, the ride, get a steel chair and beat him over the head with it. If I could, like in a legal sense and in a money sense. If I had the money to, I'd go right to his house in Connecticut. I'd go to Connecticut. I wouldn't have to fly. I'd probably take the train because it's out in Connecticut, and I know you can take the train out there, or you could drive out there and go right and punch him right in the face. And no, sorry, I take that back. I go to whoever is booking and the writers and go and punch every one of them in the face for what happened tonight. So they give Seth the U.S. title match, and the first match was one that they announced earlier. This is what I'm talking about with booking. Dean versus the Big Show. This was a great in-ring match for storytelling. Big Show dominating Dean, but Dean not ever giving up. A lot of people say things like this are burials, like, you know, you have guys like Big Show beating up older guys, beating up young talent. Tonight was an example of the difference between booking someone to look strong or booking someone properly and not booking them properly when it comes to old talent versus new talent. Big Show versus Dean, the match consisted of Dean, the clearly smaller guy, Big Show, the giant, just onslaught of offense on Dean, and not beating Dean up in the ring, beating him up and throwing him outside the ring because, you know, he's small. He's a lot smaller than Big Show, and Dean continuing to get up to fight Big Show. Now you may say that's, you know, because the end of the match saw Dean get a slight upper hand on the Big Show when he, you know, was about to sneak back in the ring for, mind you, the entire match, Dean keeps sneaking back in the ring before the 10 count, and Big Show keeps tossing him out. But on the final time, this was, I believe, the fourth time, he goes to go get Dean. Dean sneaks back in the ring, kicks him in the head, goes for a suicide dive, aptly named, and eats a knockout punch from the Big Show, and is knocked out and gets the 10 count and is lose. Here's the thing. We didn't have Big Show pin Dean. So Dean, well, granted, he wasn't really knocked out so much as kind of, they even show him just kind of reaching it so close to the, and not being able to make it to the ring. You have him he just, after this beatdown from the world's largest athlete, he just barely, it goes to say that if he was in the ring, he would, like, as soon as the ref's hand would hit the mat for 3, he would kick out, because it shows he still has fight in him, but he's human. He couldn't overcome his injuries. Makes Big Show look strong, makes Dean look like you have to do something. You have to beat him half to death in order to beat him, which does make him look strong, and it makes Big Show look strong because he was able to do that, which is beat Dean half to death in order to beat him. Both guys, in normal circumstances, would have come out looking strong, except for in front of Tulsa, Oklahoma, because they're stupid. And the other crowd would have been like, "Whoo, that's a solid, you know, hey man, that's booking right there, you know." But at the end of the match, after Big Show wins, he goes to go spear Dean through the Brock Lesnar barricades. And Dean sidesteps him and he flies to the barricade. This is where booking went down the toilet. Why do you have Dean, after being beaten down to the point where he couldn't answer, get into the ring before the 10 count, sidestep the Big Show, after you just made the Big Show look so dominant? Now the Big Show looks like an idiot, and Dean looks like now it's become, why'd the Big Show win? You could have just had the Big Show beat him up, because they did have an interaction on SmackDown where Dean got the upper hand on him. So instead of having this match, you just have him beat him up and leave, because it accomplishes the same thing. But if you have him put on a match, an actual match, where Dean gets beat to the point where he can't get back in the ring before 10, if they have another match, Dean now has to, at least from a character standpoint, has to find a way to get over on Big Show, while Big Show does look dominant. You expect that the idiot fringe Dean Ambrose is going to find a new, innovative, insane way to get over on Big Show, but he just didn't, because he's never faced Big Show before. He didn't know how to respond to it. Everything was booked perfect. Now, I've now talked about this match for longer than I thought I would, but everything was booked perfectly until you have the Big Show look like an idiot and have to be aggressive. He wasn't overly aggressive with attacking Dean throughout the entire match. He was, okay, yeah, Dean, just stay down on the ground, man. I don't need to knock you out in the ring or beat you up and pin you. I don't got no beef with you. This is the first time I've ever stepped in the ring with you. Hey, even if you have it from, because they had the interaction on SmackDown, you embarrassed me last week. Gotta beat you back. You ain't getting back in this ring. To have Dean just sidestep him, and Dean to standing tall at the end, and the Big Show down on the ground, defeats the purpose. That's all I'm saying about that. But this was the beginning of booking's bad booking. For the night, at least when it comes to older talent beating up the newer talent. But it started off positive. That's how you book matches. A guy just can't flat out overcome the odds of an opponent he's not used to. Especially someone who is a giant. If this was, Mark Henry, it'd be the same thing. Or if this was Ryback on The Miz, it'd be the same. Granted, it works better because Big Show is technically a heel right now. But if this had been Ryback dominating The Miz, and The Miz, or Brock Lesnar, where he dominates people and you can't, it's the same thing. It's not a burial. It's I'm a very big proponent on, in matches, guys getting hit with the finisher, hit him with it again. Like when Seth Rollins did the curb stomp, do the curb stomp twice on a guy to prove that, yes, I need to do whatever it takes to win. That's all I'm getting at. It's just it's a certain way of booking that can build a mindset that, okay, yes, the Big Show is strong now, but Dean, it's because he just caught Dean off guard. It can always just be and it can build towards the future. And WWE can do that. They book in the now instead of into the future, much like how young people live life. Next we get Adrian Neville versus Fandango. Adrian Neville wins easy. He beats Fandango easy, and then Stardust comes out, cuts a promo, which, because it's Tulsa, Oklahoma, they just sit there and go the entire time. Fandango was only out there because they didn't have, they couldn't, actually, I think, didn't they fire Heath Slater? I don't remember. I'm actually forgetting right now. I liked Heath Slater just because he was funny. Fandango's only out there because he's got the stupid dance, and kids can do the dance because kids can't dance. But anyway, that's a way to get over the crowd, because Tulsa, Oklahoma's just because it's Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they're idiots, and they can't dance because they can't figure out how to stop tripping over their own feet. Next, we get Sasha Banks versus Paige. On Northern Order first. Paige taps to the bank statement, I believe it's called, the bank note. But it was a solid match. That's all I have to say about that. I'm not going to talk about this match, these matches that long. I have too much to say about what happened in the end. There were backstage segments and stuff, them talking to Seth and him saying he's going to beat Cena, and talking to, what's her face? Dean's girlfriend talking to Cena. He's saying he's going to beat Seth, and yada, yada, yada. And how Seth's a coward, and blah, 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 blah. But, so Sasha Banks made Paige tap for the second week in a row. Next, we get Rusev, and he gives Summer Rae a dog, and he says the dog is weak and ugly, so he calls the dog Dolph, and then he gives her a fish. He says the fish is smelly and cold and wet. Or cold and stagnant, and he says that it's Lana. Lana comes out and says that's not true. Smacks Rusev and smacks Summer Rae with the fish. I could wake me up when I care. I could literally care less. Because the Lana character, until Dolph has either one, but actually her, or two, not officially signed his contract back, has been nothing since Rusev has been hurt. She's just been Nikki Namath's girlfriend. That's it. If you don't know who Nikki Namath is, Google it, and then go, oh, yeah, okay. So that happened. Then next we get Lucha Dragons versus Los Matadors. Lucha Dragons won. Primetime players were on the commentary table, and New Day came out with a sign that was saying how Kofi was the real dad of the year, and they were dancing and clapping and whatnot, and it just drives home the point of why WWE fire Hulk Hogan for saying some racist stuff like 5 years ago. When Vince and Kenny came in, there is a video that exists and it's been going around for years, but it's been going on even like wildfire since the firing of Hulk Hogan, where Vince McMahon uses the N-word, and he uses it to John Cena, and then Booker T goes, "Oh, please tell me he did not just say that." And this is, I believe, back when he was King Booker too, so he was like a real dominant heel. But you know that so Vincent Kennedy McMahon, I can call whoever I want a nigger, but Hulk Hogan better not call him a nigger. Like, Vince can just do whatever he wants. He can get black people to come out and shuck and jive and dance for him. He can call them niggers all he wants. But God forbid, 5 years ago, my mom actually told me it was like 8 years ago, 'cause she used to watch the Hulk Hogan show, and she was like, that was back when his son got arrested. Yeah. Because of some paperwork somebody printed out. Like, here's a transcript from like 8 years ago of Hulk Hogan using the N-word. Here's a paper transcript of Hulk Hogan. Here's just what was said on paper, not audio. I don't know for sure as of writing this if there is audio, but from everything I know, that it's just as of now a transcript of what he said. They didn't even bust him like they busted the owner of the Clippers, Donald Sterling, on like audio. But I believe because this was when his son got arrested, so it was on. So it's probably on, like, they record their calls in lockup and in jail and whatnot. They record the calls that go in and out. And they fire and try to wipe Hulk Hogan from the history books when he's arguably one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. But Vince, this is perfect because Vince hates Hulk. He hates Hulk but loves the fact that Hulk is a cash cow. So this is even more so. They were going to have Hulk on the Steve Austin podcast, but now they've got freaking Paige. I don't know what they're going to do for Tough Enough, because Hulk can't be, he's probably calling Patrick a nigger on that show too. And that's probably why Patrick got kicked off the show. They're like, well, we can't have you be here and Hulk not be here, because who's going to call you a nigger then? Vince can't do it. Anyway, Vince and Patrick wasn't angry and black, so that's why they had to have that bit where he was angry and black on Tough Enough, because he's black and he's got to be angry and black and nigger. Vince McMahon really pisses me off. Yeah, primetime players come on. Here's the thing. Let me talk about primetime players and the new slaves very briefly. The New Day would have been great as a Nation of Domination revival, simply because, and yes, I know it still would have sucked anyway because the booking sucks, but imagine this. The New Day still go about their thing. They come out as faces, you know, they're Nation of Domination, they're just looking for some respect, and, you know, they look, it's a black pride, and then you have, and then they become heels because they're like, nobody respects us. They come out looking for respect. They don't disrespect anybody, but nobody respects them. They win the tag titles, still nobody respects them. So they come out and they're heels now, or they become number one contenders and nobody respects them because they lose. So they become heels. Same way they are now. You know, nobody shows them any love, so they're heels. Now, if they were the New Nation and they were all Black Pride and Malcolm X-esque, you have the primetime players who just two black guys who want to have fun. You know, they're nothing wrong with it. There's two black guys, two African Americans that just want to have a good time. You know, do the little dance, have the fans enjoy, show the fans some love. You know, but you have now a heel New Nation saying, we're not going to dance and shuck and jive for you like slaves. They can be one that you have a dancing tag team because Vince loves niggers that dance. And you have ones that are angry and black. You have your two things. And this feud would, one, mean a lot more because it goes, especially with what's currently going on in the media. Do you have it where you have the primetime players who are just two black guys that are just having a fun time, but at the same time not being like Chief Keef bang bang, you know, ignorant, you know, Chicago, you know, Chirac, like hoodlums, but they still want to have a fun time? Or do you side with, and this could have been getting to bringing more African Americans in, Or do you side with the New Nation, who, yes, they're a little bit militant, yes, they're aggressive about it, but they just are looking to be respected, and are showcasing that they're more than just dancing and singing and shucking and jiving, that they are respectable members. I mean, freaking Consequence Creed, Xavier Wood, has a PhD. I'm assuming all three of those men have degrees. I take the assumption and say so. They either got them online like Lil Wayne did, or they got them legit. How much more would that mean? Instead, you got one set of dancing niggers and another set of dancing niggers. And then we fire Hulk Hogan because he said it. But so long as you don't say it, you can have just dancing niggas all you want, according to Vince Kennedy Man. But whatever. It's just that's just me. That's just booking in my own head. But Lucha Dragons did come on top in their match against Los Matadors, and the thing was that the new slaves came out and made fun of people. That was it. Next, Bray comes out and talks. Him and Luke Harper come out and talk. That's all they do. They just talk. I don't care. And I like Bray Wyatt. I just don't care what he's talking about at all. I'm losing my voice doing this Vince Hates Niggers voice. And yes, I'm going to continue to use the N-word because that's how probably what Vince does. It literally, I would not be surprised. I'm doing it for comedic effect, but you get the gist. Next, we get Charlotte and Becky Lynch. They have a tag match against Nikki and Alicia Fox. One, Declan, I'm going to need you to explain to me, because I'm not 100%. My only knowledge of this comes from an episode of The Simpsons. If whether or not Becky Lynch is Northern Irish, because there's anything. Becky Lynch is really. I'm just in love with Becky Lynch because she's got two things I love the most in women: red hair and accent, like a crazy one too, not like a boring British one. Those are boring, but unless they're Cockney, I mean like a heavy accent. Not it's heavy for someone who is as Americanized as I am, who hasn't heard much. I really like heavy accents, like. And Declan explained, because I know there's a difference between Northern Irish and I guess Southern Irish, and with the whole difference between green and orange. Declan, you may want to explain that to me, because I'm not, like I said, only knowledge I have of that is an episode of The Simpsons. I believe it was The Simpsons, where they have like Northern Irish people fighting wearing orange and Southern Irish people wearing green. If you want to explain that to me, and where Becky Lynch is from, specifically, because I'm in love with that girl. I don't know why. Really love the Irish, Scottish. Like, if Becky Lynch had like a Scottish, and she's just like, no, stop it, Charlotte, stop it, Paige, I'd lose my mind because I love it. But anyway, I'm in love with Becky Lynch, and Charlotte's cool too. I just see too much. Like it's like Angelina Jolie. Like I just see I look at Angelina Jolie. I just see John Voight from Anacondas being an old man strangling people with his legs. I only see Ric Flair, especially when they stand next to each other, because she's got like a Flair face, and she's really tall and kind of skinny. Like she's built like she's I don't even know how to explain what she's built like. She's really tall and skinny. She's built like Samurai kind of, except she doesn't have a witchy poo nose. Anyway, I've been talking for too long about it. I like Charlotte, but I'm in love with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch wears Naruto sunglasses, Naruto goggles on her head, so that's also amazing because I'm a nerd. But anyway, they have a match against Nikki and Alicia Fox, and Becky makes Alicia tap to that armbar that I can't remember the name of. This is only just padding for Nikki to continue to be the longest reigning Divas champ of all time. She's basically Dean Ambrosing the title. If you don't know what Dean Ambrosing the title is, it's when you hold the title for months and months and months and never defend it. But WWE wants people to forget the fact that they have entire story arcs built around the fact that you need to defend the title every couple. It's supposed to be once a month or once every 30-day period. I've even heard before. But remember, anyone who remembers when Dean was in the Shield, he didn't defend his title for like 4 or 5 months. I think he defended it, like he did it in like October, and then didn't defend it again until like February. I could be wrong about that. I remember I was listening to a podcast where somebody literally just like explained it out. Like his last match was like in October, and the match he finally had, I think it was when he took the title, and then between when he took the title and then faced it, I think it was Big E. It had been something like 3 months. That's what Nikki's doing. She's just not defending the title because we need to stall for time so she can become the quote-unquote greatest Divas champion of all time. The greatest champion of a title no one cares about, and no one cares because she hasn't even held it more times. He's only held it twice. Brie held it longer than her first run because no one cares about Nikki Bella and no one cares about Brie. I wish they both would have died in the womb. So to make her the longest reigning Divas champion is just to show how small Vincent Kennedy McMahon is. So whenever he stands next to all the black people in WWE, how small his wang is. Now he's got to try to get back at CM Punk because he can't get over it. He can't get over his past relationships. Just Vince McMahon is so petty. He has to make Nikki Bella someone no one cares about, no one's interested in seeing. She's not a good heel because she sucks on the mic. Her in-ring work is. Yes, she's not Eva Marie level. She's not Eva Marie, which is what I call Brie Bella now, because Brie Bella sucks in the ring. Because they keep trying to make her do moves that she can't do. At least they keep Nikki to a style. I will say that they keep her to a style where she can look believable in the ring. I just don't believe her because her character sucks. And I don't believe that she could out-wrestle or out-think any of the other like divas like Paige and hold on to the title that long. If you really were like, go out there and go fight Paige, she would get beat down so fast. Paige would kick her in the face one time and she'd die. Kick her right in the boob and watch it deflate. Anyway, so I forgot what I was talking about. They're just trying to protect her, and I don't believe her character is just bad. Her in-ring skills are leagues better than they were when she first came to WWE, and they're leagues above. After that pay-per-view, yeah, they're leagues above Brie trying to do Daniel Bryan moves. They're leagues above what they have Brie doing now. But at the same time, it's just like, yeah, to be the best of the worst doesn't make you, because you have, if you're gonna say the top 3 divas in ring work, Charlotte, Paige. Natty can throw down in the ring, but they just don't let her. Alicia Fox can throw down in the ring, but they just don't let her. So Becky Lynch, you got them all on the same team. You got, if you're gonna say this, Sasha Banks is good too. I actually like Sasha Banks. I'm really glad she's put me on to Sasha Banks. She is fine. Another two, she got that purplish red hair. I'm all about that. And that attitude, I just like it. If you're gonna say that Paige, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch, or Sasha Banks are the top wrestling divas on the roster, then your bottom of your list has got to be Nikki, Brie, Eva, and Summer Rae. Because Summer Rae, people say Tamina, but it's Summer Rae. Then your best, worst diva is still not as good as Natty Night. Your best is not as good as Natty Night. Not as good as Alicia Fox. Not as good as the chick who in the background who changed them, Sarah Del Rey, who I adore. Not as good as, who else is another diva on the roster? I wouldn't even put Nikki Bella above. Tamina looks kind of rookie-ish sometimes. She's just barely below Tamina. She's not better than Naomi. So when you guys say, oh, she's gotten a lot better. You know what? Dog turd stops smelling bad after a while too. So, what are you saying? That's all I'm saying about that. But, so that's the end of that. Alicia Fox taps to Becky's crazy armbar, and I'm in love with Becky Lynch. Next, we get Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. This match is just a basic heel versus face match. Sheamus is on commentary. I did not know Sheamus had a septum piercing. That was the most interesting thing about this match. Sheamus interferes and gets Randy the DQ win. Cesaro comes out after Kevin Owens and Sheamus are beat down Randy, and winds up eating a pop-up powerbomb off the distraction by Sheamus. And Sheamus and Kevin Owens stand tall at the end. This is their way of keeping Kevin Owens safe and being like, see, look, we didn't squash him, guys. See, look, just because he tapped out to Cena doesn't mean he's over. And they keep, they're showing, like, these big packages for him on SmackDown. It's just like, no, he tapped out to Cena. Speaking of tapped out to Cena, we get to the main event. I don't care anything at all about this match. It's Cena versus Rollins for the U.S. title. Cena makes Seth Rollins tap out. For anyone who's ever watched my channel outside of my wrestling reviews, you know I do rants. This is the part where I've probably spliced in my rant logo. WWE. I listened to a podcast before I even addressed WWE. I listened to a podcast, I think it was last week before last. No, this was for the pay-per-view. After Kevin Owens tapped. Where it was Wiza and Blackjack. If you don't watch those guys on YouTube, they're good guys. Wiza said everyone has to tap to Cena, but Cena never taps. And those words went through my head as I remembered that as Seth Rollins was in the STF, I remembered that Seth Rollins, I don't believe, had ever tapped to Cena. Of course, Seth Rollins, your WWE World Heavyweight Champion, who you have booked to look so weak. You have him tap out to Cena on a Monday Night Raw in Tulsa, fucking Oklahoma. Before, right, the night when you announce that SummerSlam was going to be 4 hours. And the only match on the card so far that's been penciled in is Brock versus Undertaker. Undertaker, who's looking, no offense to Undertaker, one of the greatest of all time, looking old. Not in appearance, but his body language said a lot last week, or his return at Battleground. And, you know, the knees were buckling when he went up for them tombstones with Brock. I don't know. It looks like Brock's going to be carrying a lot of this match. Which is whatever. But so far, that's the only thing you've got. And yes, it's a cool match, but I don't care. I don't think most wrestling fans care, because the streak is over. Undertaker beating Brock isn't going to bring the streak back. Casual fans will probably care because they're like, it's the Undertaker. And you tell people how great the Undertaker is, and they go, he's going to always give it. Here's the thing. One, Undertaker cannot lose. If he loses to Brock, that is a complete waste of the Undertaker and his return, and it just wouldn't make any sense. Even though, you know, WWE logic says that don't be surprised if Brock wins. You have a match where you have a guy who clearly has to win, so I'm not invested. Because I don't care. I listen, if Brock wins, I'll hate it. If Undertaker wins, I won't care. It's a lose-lose. Because Undertaker has to win, and there's no reason for Brock to win. So it's a lose-lose for that match. That's your main event. And what it's looking like is it's going to be Cena versus Seth. If that match happens, you expect me to believe, one, that Seth Rollins, because they're going to try to book Cena as the underdog. They're going to try to have Seth get revenge and yada yada yada. If they don't, I'll be super surprised. Like, I don't know what I'd do if that doesn't happen. But they're gonna probably book Cena to look weak or weaker. You expect me to believe that Cena's gonna go into this match the underdog. You expect me to believe that Seth is gonna somehow become top dog, even though for the past 4, 5, 6 months you've been booking him since Mania. It's been, God, I can't remember, 4, 5 months. I'm lapsing in memory. That he's going to be top dog in I don't know how many weeks before SummerSlam, 4 weeks, let's just say, because it's a pay-per-view, 4 weeks. The 4 weeks before pay-per-view. After tapping out to Cena, you're going to make me believe that he's top dog. And you expect me to believe that he's going to walk out champion? And you expect me to buy the network to see whether or not he will walk out champion. WWE, why do I give a flying fuck about Seth Rollins versus John Cena after you make Seth Rollins tap out to Cena at Monday Night Raw in Tulsa, Oklahoma? Why do I care? Why would I care to see their match? Why would I care to ever see Cena step in the ring with anyone ever again? One, you just further made the WWE World Heavyweight title. You only have one title. You have one title. You took away the two. You made the brands basically one because you could barely write for 2 titles and you could barely write for 2 shows. You have 1 title. You can't even write for that. You can't write for a 3-hour show. You can't write for your 1 title. But you expect me, a fan, someone who's been a fan of WWE, and this will answer Declan's question he asked, like, I want to say 2-3 weeks ago. A fan of WWE for over a decade, 13 years. You expect me and other people like me, people who have been fans of the WWE since they were children, who have watched some of the greatest come and go, who have been through tape after tape, watching some of the best matches of all time, been scouring the internet for the best that they can find, doing reviews, having knowledge, not the most knowledge, but the knowledge. Guys like me, guys like Chase, guys like Wiza, guys like CM Pulse, guys like the Over the Ropes, guys like, I don't know if the Wrestling Gurus are still a group, but the Wrestling Gurus, relatively young guys, and this is we're the fan base. It's, you know, guys between the ages of, you know, I'll say about 10 and up, you know, mostly, you know, not even, because of Cena, like 3 and up, but mostly it's a mostly male audience. You expect any of us and the so-called, you know, the people they call smarks and the people in the IWC, yada yada, who just straight up believe, you know, just because young talent's not getting over, it's a burial, that, and this was a burial, people, by the way. They were burying Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, do not be surprised, and as a matter of fact, I'm predicting it right now. Cena is walking out with the WWE Championship, and he will hold both titles at the same time. He will tie Flair's record, hold both titles at the same time. They will declare him the greatest WWE Champion of all time. And this will not be the last time he holds the title either. He will have that title hit him 4 more times. Sorry, 5 more times after this. No, sorry, this is 15, 4 more times. He will hold that title 20 times before he retires. I've said this before. He is walking out of SummerSlam with the championship. One, who's going to take it from Seth afterwards? He's taking that title whilst holding the U.S. title. The only thing that can happen other than him taking that not taking that title is at SummerSlam, he doesn't win. Then during one of his stupid open challenges, he loses the title and then goes, well, since I don't have the U.S. title, I want the WWE title. He will get that title. He will tie Flair's record. He will do it by beating Seth Rollins. He'll make Seth Rollins tap again. I'm calling it right now. He will make Seth Rollins tap at SummerSlam, or at, I don't know what the next one is at, I think Night of Champions maybe? I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. I don't know the pay-per-view order by heart. He will make Seth tap. Again. He'll probably do it at Mania, or at SummerSlam. I would not be surprised at all. He'll beat Seth with 1AA. Because that's how weak they've booked him. I refuse. And anyone with a monochrome of intelligence should sit back and believe that for 1 minute they're, 1, not going to slap that title on Cena, and 2, not going to have Seth lose it, or not going to have Seth keep it. Why does Seth? Because they booked Seth so weak, and we all know it and have said it, then they think they need to take the title off him. But instead of giving it to Brock because they want Brock to face off against Taker, who else are they going to give it to? Who's going to take the... Can't give it to Roman. Roman's feuding with Bray. And people weren't getting behind Roman, even though I was, because I don't have to see... Everyone kept saying because the internet fans are saying, you stupid IWC douche-nozzles were saying how it's just another Cena, he never loses, it's just another Sheamus. Even though he's taken L's, plenty of losses, even before they started to push him. He can't lose to Dean. Dean's lost so many matches, Dean doesn't even matter. There's the reason why I call him the Idiot Fringe instead of the Lunatic Fringe. So, who do you have him losing to? Well, unfortunately, you've all made it. Yes, you've all made it. You, not me, because I never was behind this. I was always behind Dean and Roman, because that's all people talk about is the young talent, and then complain when a young guy gets a chance, which is so stupid. Who's the next guy you give it to? Could give it to Randy, but Randy's feud with Sheamus. Could give it to Sheamus if Sheamus was booked right. But since he's not, fans don't like him. or don't hate him, or, don't feel anything towards him. They just don't care and they get bored when they see him. And he's too busy feuding with Randy. Who's the other guy to take it? Cena. But WWE's so stupid, and the booking's so stupid, and the writing's so stupid, and Vince McMahon and Stephanie McMahon and Triple H are so stupid. They believe that having Seth, who already looks weak, coming off of getting beat down by Brock, and not even in the Roman Reigns way, where like he comes back and he gets in some offense and shows he's not gonna quit and not gonna back down from Brock. Instead, Seth tries to run because that's what he does. Fresh off of being the biggest wiener champion ever, probably one of the worst champions ever. I mean, booking wise, you have him tap out to Cena. I'm gonna give this Raw an F minus. Final score, simply because of that ending. I'm not gonna give it an F minus. I'm gonna give it a D, because the Divas were the Divas were booked fine, except for the fact that Nikki Bella isn't dead. If they really want to do a night of first, they would have the first live execution of the Bellas and John Cena. But the crowd sucked. The matches sucked. The ending sucked. The opening was what I thought was going to be a step in the positive direction, but even the ending of that segment sucked. It's the same as the last show in Tulsa. It's literally exactly the same. It sucks. It just sucks. I can't say anything more about how it sucks. The crowd sucks all the energy out of the arena, and the matches all suck. And you think because now it's different because we got the quote unquote Divas Revolution. But last time they were in Tulsa, I believe, if memory serves, AJ Lee was there. And everybody loves AJ and Paige. So the whole Divas Revolution thing doesn't really help. Yes, there were good matches, and yes, the young Divas came out on top. Or the new Divas came on top, because Paige is also young. I think she's actually younger than everyone else who's up on the main roster. And so you get your two Divas matches. The only ones that are booked in any way that matters. And Paige tapping to Sasha Banks again. It's kind of a little bit like, why again? Same thing. But like, Paige will survive. Tapping out to Sasha Banks is just to make sure people understand that Sasha Banks isn't to be brushed aside just because Becky Lynch and Charlotte are up on the roster. So the Divas are the only one. It's crazy to think that the Divas are the ones being booked perfectly right now, or right, at least in the right direction. Everything, Bray Wyatt coming out talking is just a waste of time because it's just like it's a filler segment, just like the backstage stuff. And then you have Cena, what they thought because the Divas matches ended in tap-outs, they needed Cena to end in a tap-out. I'm done. I don't know if I'll ever do another Raw review again. Next week, I may not do one. If Raw if anything is anything like it was this week, I won't do a Raw review next week. I don't know that I'm going to be watching I'll probably watch SummerSlam, but I don't think that, mind you, I don't own the network. I'll find some way to watch SummerSlam, and I probably won't review it. Because this is the biggest direct garbage ever. Why? And the holy hell do you have Seth Rollins? You're already wiener champion. If you're saying because he's already a wiener, people already hate him, why is he tapping out to Cena? Any other time you have Cena get a DQ win in some kind of janky way, the guy leaves the match before, no. Seth's got to tap to Cena. Because why? I'm done. Leave your comments and whatever in the comment section. Follow me on Twitter if you want. Facebook. Declan, you're the #1 fan. Comments, whatever. I don't care. I'm just done. A D Raw. Don't be surprised if I never come back for another Raw review and just go back to doing my rants full time. Peace.